day 29 of my 6th annual SLAP challenge. SLAP, S-L-A-P, stands for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We are doing 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And this is day 29 already. We are kicking off our 4th full week of the challenge. But that does not mean that it is too late to join the challenge. It's never too late to join. You can hop in today and just do the final 2 weeks of the challenge with me. That's great. Of course, you don't have to join the challenge at all. If you just want to do this workout with me today, fantastic. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video, so you can go ahead and use the chapter markers to skip straight ahead to the workout if you would prefer to do that. But if you do want to join the challenge, there is a playlist for this challenge. I will link the playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I will link it again at the very end of the video just so that you can't miss it. So click on the link, save the playlist, and then watch that video for day 1 that's going to explain everything you need to know about what the challenge is, how it works, why we're doing it, who's Brutus, how to participate, and where to begin. Also, in that day 1 video, I spent a lot of time demonstrating and explaining your proper form for how to do squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups, and I provided tons of beginner modifications that you can do, because this year I'm going out of my way to make sure that the challenge is accessible to super duper beginners. So even if you are in horrible shape, you've never done a workout before in your life, and you think you can't do a push-up or a squat, yes you can. You can do squats, you can do lunges, you can do abs, you can do push-ups, and you can do this challenge. So watch that day 1 video to see how. After you have watched the day 1 video, first of all, if you have any questions, if anything is unclear, please just ask. I am always here to help. And secondly, if you decide that you want to join the challenge, just know that this challenge is super easy to customize. So you can do the challenge in your way, and that might mean doing fewer reps of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups every day. It might mean doing fewer days. It might mean doing just 20 days of the challenge instead of 40. It might mean working out with me 3 days a week instead of 6. So if you make the commitment to do it, it's your challenge. You do it your way, okay? Do it in whatever way works for you. But if you want to do the challenge the way it was designed, what you're going to do is save the playlist, watch the day 1 video, and then when you're ready to begin, again, you can jump in today and just do the final 2 weeks if you want, that's fine. But if you do want to start the challenge on day 1, that's great. That's recommended. That's how the challenge was designed. So just make sure that you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. Any random Wednesday will work, but as long as you start with that day 1 workout on a Wednesday, all you have to do is follow along with the playlist. I have made it super easy to follow along. Everything will fall into place as long as you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. Now, if you are not a beginner, then the workouts we're doing this year for the challenge probably are not going to challenge you very much. So you may want to follow along with last year's playlist. Last year was my 5th year in a row doing the challenge. It was the same challenge. We were doing at least 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. But the workouts we were doing last year were much more difficult. They were more intense. They were generally a lot longer because we were frequently doing more than just those 160 reps. We also were doing more challenging versions of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups for the most part. We were adding weight to a lot of the workouts, and with most of the workouts, I was incorporating at least 20 minutes or so of moderate-paced cardio. So if you are more advanced and you would like to follow along with last year's playlist, I will link that playlist up here in the iCard as well. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked again at the very end of the video. But save both playlists, because even if you are more advanced and you're capable of doing the more difficult workouts that we were doing last year for the challenge, these workouts that we're doing this year are still a great option to have. They're still great workouts. And if you're in decent shape, you are going to be able to finish most of the workouts that we are doing this year for the challenge in under 10 minutes. So on days where you just have absolutely no time, these workouts are perfect. They also make a great warm-up for something more intense. So if you're planning on like a long run or bike ride or a hike today or something, one of these workouts is a great option. You can use it as a warm-up for a longer, more intense workout and still get your reps done. They're also perfect if you're traveling, because this year I am really focusing on beginners, so I'm making a concerted effort to not use any fitness equipment because I'm assuming that beginners don't have access to fitness equipment. So if you don't have access to fitness equipment because you're traveling, you're staying at a hotel or an Airbnb and you don't have anything, or if you just want to take your workout to the park today or the beach or the hiking trail and you don't want to be lugging along a kettlebell or dumbbells or sandbag or something like that, these short little bodyweight workouts are perfect. So make sure if you're more advanced that you save both playlists, and then you can just kind of bounce back and forth between the playlists. Remember, if you're doing it, it's your challenge. So I'm presenting the challenge in a very organized way. I'm sharing a brand new workout every single day, and all of the workouts are numbered, days 1 through 40, and that's the way I'm doing the challenge. But you don't have to. So on any given day, just choose any workout that works for you. If you don't want to do a structured workout, that's fine. You don't even have to do a structured workout. You can get up in the morning first thing and do 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of any ab exercise you want, and 10 push-ups. Any variation of those 4 exercises that you want to do is fine. And then you can just repeat that 3 more times throughout the course of your day. So you could do the same thing again after lunch, you could do it again after you get home, and then once more before bed. There's your 160 reps. So the challenge is really easy to customize. Do it in a way that works for you, but as long as you're getting your reps done every day, then it doesn't matter which variations of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups you do. It doesn't matter where or how you get your reps done. It doesn't matter if you do them all at one time and incorporate them into a structured workout, or if you just do them randomly throughout the day. But that's the challenge in a nutshell. There is more to it than that. So if you would like to learn a little bit more detail about what the challenge is and why we're doing it, make sure you watch that day 1 video. And of course, as always, please remember that I am here doing the challenge right along with you. But I'm not only here working out with you every day, I'm also here to answer questions. I am here to provide guidance and support and encouragement. I'm here to help if you need motivation to keep going. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if you need help. So let's go ahead and get into what we're doing for today's workout. This is going to be a super simple, super short workout. I feel like some of the exercises that we've been doing lately have gotten a little bit complicated, a little bit maybe more advanced, and so I do want to kind of bring it back today and make sure that I'm really making this super duper accessible to beginners. So we are going to be doing 4 very basic versions of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups today. For my squats, I'm basically just doing an air squat. And for my lunges, I'm just doing a side lunge, but I'm combining them, okay? So I'm going to do 1 squat and 1 lunge, and that's going to count as 1 rep, okay? So with both your squats and your lunges, you wanna start by making sure your shoulders are back and down. So visualize trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. That's also going to help you keep your chest lifted nice and high. And remember that feeling. You want to maintain that feeling of your chest being lifted high throughout the entire exercise, okay? Next, you want to really make sure your abs are super tight. So imagine someone is about to punch you in the stomach. You're bracing for that impact, and that's how tight your abs should be. Then, before you think of squatting down, I want you to remember that first you want to think about hinging at the hips, because that is going to help you keep your back flat, and it's going to help you keep the weight in your heels as you sink into the lunge, and that's really the movement. If you think about your squat as just kind of going straight down, do you see how my knees kind of end up out over my toes? We want to avoid that. That's a really good way to hurt your knees. So instead, I'm going to think about hinging at the hips. Push that booty back, and now you see how my knees are no longer over my toes. All of my weight is in my heels, and I can actually pick up my toes. So you want to think about trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. At the same time, remember you're still keeping your chest lifted nice and high. So think about trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. Your spine is nice and elongated and your back is flat. Okay, so with your squats and your lunges, I just want you to remember those 2 things. Back flat, weight in the heels, okay? So you want to make sure you're not rounding your back. Roll the shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, push the booty back, elongate the spine, keep your back flat, keep the weight in your heels so that your knees are not out over your toes. That's for squats and lunges. Okay, so now from this position is where you can sink down into your squat. Do your best to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. If you're not there yet, that's fine. Be where you are. Please work to your own level. Do not push your body into doing anything it is not ready to do, but that's what you're working towards. If you are not there yet, please don't push it. If your squat is here, that's fine, as long as your back is flat and the weight is in your heels. But eventually what you're working towards is to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. And as soon as you've sunk as low into the squat as you're going to get, you're going to press your heels into the ground, straighten your legs to stand. Really actively press your heels into the ground as though you're trying to push the ground away from you. That's just going to help you activate all of those muscles in your feet, your legs, your quads especially, but also your glutes and your core. Of course, your abs are already super nice and tight and engaged. Okay, so that's just a basic air squat. Let's put it all together. So tuck the shoulder blades into the back pockets. That means shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, tighten up those abs. Hinging at the hips before we squat, so push the booty back, trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. Elongating that spine, back is flat, weight is in the heels, sink down into that squat, and then press the ground away with your heels to stand. Shoulders back and down, chest lifted high, tighten up the abs. Booty goes back, keeping your back flat, weight in the heels as you sink down into that squat, pressing the heels into the ground to stand. All right, and that's it. That's my squat variation today. That's just doing air squats. Super simple. The only thing that's making it kind of, I guess not just a basic air squat is that I'm combining it with my lunge exercise, but it's a very simple lunge variation as well. We're just doing side lunges. So all that means is that you're going to take a step to the side. The leg you stepped with is your lunging leg. The foot that's staying planted is your standing leg. You're going to bend your lunging leg and make sure, again, that your shoulders are back and down. Your chest is lifted high. You're pushing that booty back, keeping your back flat, keeping the weight in the heel of this lunging foot. And then to come back up, you're going to press the ground away with the heel of your lunging foot and return to your starting position. Super simple, okay? So I'm here. I'm gonna pick up one foot, lunge to the side, bending this knee, booty goes back. Shoulders are back and down, my chest is lifted high, my back is flat, and the weight is in the heel of this lunging leg. So what you're looking to avoid is this, okay? See how my back is rounded? Keep the shoulder blades tucked into the back pocket. Keep that chest lifted high, keep pushing your booty back. Flat back, weight in the heels. Then press your heel into the ground to stand, okay? Super simple. So all we're gonna do is combine those. And I will be alternating sides for my lunge with each rep. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to squat and then lunge to the side. That's one. Squat and lunge to the other side. And that's two. Okay? Squat, side lunge. That's three. Squat and side lunge. That's four. So simple. If you are a beginner, your beginner modifications are as follows. Number one, shorten up your range of motion. So if you cannot take a super wide step out to the side, then you can step here. If you cannot sink so deep into this lunge that you're all the way down here, then you're here, okay? Just remember, as long as you're keeping your back flat and the weight in your heels, that's fine. Don't round your back. Don't push yourself into doing something you're not ready to do. So shorten up your range of motion on the squat, shorten up your range of motion on the lunge, okay? Holding on to a chair or some other strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface for support if you need it. So a chair or a bar stool can work just fine as long as your chair or bar stool or whatever you're using is strong enough to support your weight. You're not going to be ideally putting very much weight on it, but it's there to assist you. And if you should happen to lose your balance or something and you need to really lean into it, you just want to be smart and be safe. And in the event that you need to put more of your body weight on your chair or your stool or whatever you're using, you want to make sure that it is strong enough to support your entire body weight. You also want to make sure if you're using a chair or a stool or something like that to assist you, that it is sturdy. And what I mean by sturdy is that you want something that is well made, something that's in good condition. It's not going to collapse or break when you put weight on it, and it's not going to fold up on you when you put weight on it. So don't use a folding chair or something like that. You want something that's nice and strong enough to support your weight, sturdy enough so that it can't collapse or break or fold up when you put your weight on it. And you want to make sure that it is stable, meaning that it cannot slide from underneath you. So if you are using a chair or a bar stool, for example, I strongly recommend placing your chair or whatever you're using on top of a yoga mat or an exercise mat, just so that it stays put. So that when you lean on it, if you need to put weight on it, it's not going to slide from underneath you, causing you to fall and get hurt. You could also use something like the arm of your couch or your dining room table or your kitchen counter. So any number of elevated surfaces will work. If you wanted to take this workout to the park, you could use like a park bench. If you wanted to take it to like a beach or a hiking trail, you could use like a big boulder. I mean, get creative, use your space, use what's available to you. But if you need to hold on to something for support, pretty much anything will work as long as it is strong enough to support your body weight, sturdy enough that it can't collapse or break or fold up when you put weight on it, and stable so that it can't slide from underneath you. Okay, but those are your beginner modifications for squats and lunges. Shorten up your range of motion. Hold on to something strong, sturdy, and stable for support if you need to. As always, if you need any further help with beginner modifications, I am right here to help, so please just ask. But that covers squats and lunges. Super simple. So let's go ahead and move on to abs. We're working obliques today. Now, I'm gonna be down on the mat for my ab exercise, and it is gonna be kind of a challenging ab exercise, but I will be providing modifications. And remember, on any given day, if any of the exercises that I'm doing in the workout are too difficult for you, you can always just swap it out for another variation of that exercise, okay? So if you want to do this workout with me and you want to follow along with the workout, but the ab exercise I'm doing is too tough, you can still work out right along with the video. Just when I'm doing what I'm doing for abs, you can be doing a different ab exercise that works better for you, okay? So easy to customize this challenge. But first, let me just go over a standing modification for abs in case you cannot get down onto the mat for your abs. You can do standing abs. So again, if you have a strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface that you want to hold on to for support, like a park bench or a chair or bar stool or your kitchen counter, the arm of your couch, you could even just use the wall, okay? So you're going to place your hand on the wall or on your elevated surface, and then you're going to take this outside leg and extend it to the side, and then I'm going to take my free hand and place it behind my head. So I have this elbow bent, my hand is behind my head, my other hand is on the wall for support. And now I'm going to take this leg that's extended, I'm going to lift it up, bending the knee, and as I do that, I'm going to crunch down, bringing my elbow towards my knee, really feeling that crunch in your obliques. It's a perfect modification for today if you can't get down on the mat, because we're working obliques today. So you'll be working obliques right along with me if you do this. So extending this foot out to the side, lift the leg, bend the knee, and crunch. Your goal is to actually touch knee to elbow. But again, work to your own level. So if you're not there yet, you're not there yet. Don't push your body into doing anything it's not ready to do. If you need to shorten up your range of motion, you can be here. That's fine. Just get that elbow as close as you can to your knee and really feel that crunch in your obliques. All right. You could also do love bends, but that requires some added weight. I think this is fine for most beginners. If you want to see love bends, just let me know. I'm not going to go grab weight to demonstrate and explain how to do those right now, but that is another option. If you know how to do them and you know how to do them correctly, we've done them already in this challenge last week maybe, or maybe, I don't remember. I'm losing track of the days, but if you've been following along with the challenge, you have seen those. If you haven't seen them, if you haven't been following along with the challenge, or you just missed that day, just let me know. I'm happy to show you that modification. But if you are able to get down onto the mat, that is what I'm going to be doing. So let me grab my mat. So I'm gonna start down here on my mat, on my side, with this bottom hand on the mat. And I'm going to, do you see how my feet are kind of staggered? I have my bottom leg a little bit behind, my bottom foot is a little bit behind my top foot. And now I'm going to press my hand into the mat and lift my hips up, okay? I am going to have my other elbow bent and this free hand is behind my head. And now from here, I'm going to dip the hips back down until they tap the mat and then lift them up again. Now I am pressing into the mat to assist myself, but you really do want to feel your obliques as you do that lift. So make sure that you are not relying solely on your upper body, really focus on engaging your obliques and trying to use your obliques as much as you can to actually lift your hips up in the air, okay? So you're up here, feet are staggered, hand is behind the head. You're gonna dip the hips, tap the mat, and now lift the hips back up. And now from here, I'm gonna do a little knee tuck. So I'm going to take this back knee and bring it forward. I'm gonna pick up the foot, bend the knee, and bring the knee forward. And as I do that, I'm going to twist my body thoracically, ding, be my little dinger, and then I'm going to rotate back into my side plank position, straighten the leg, put the foot back down, and come back down, okay? So that's one rep. The hip dip plus the knee crunch is one rep. All right, so starting here, you're gonna dip the hip, lift the hip, crunch the knee. That's one. Hip dip, lift the hip, crunch the knee. That's two. All right, it's a really challenging ab exercise. Your obliques are gonna be on fire, but also you're gonna feel it a lot in your shoulder. So if you are a beginner and you don't have a lot of upper body strength, or if you're just really overweight and it's hard to hold up your body weight for that long, you really can come down onto your elbow and use your entire forearm. So now you have a bigger base here supporting you, and you're supporting less of your body weight, okay? So it's going to make it a lot easier. You can also keep this bottom leg on the mat for support. So instead of having your legs extended, you can bend this bottom leg so that the outside of your leg is on the mat for support. Bend your other elbow, your top elbow, place the hand behind your head, and you can press yourself up this way. Dip the hips, lift the hips, and you can stay right there. That can be your exercise, okay? Just 1, 2, 3. It's still a great exercise. It's still really, really going to make you feel your obliques, and you're still really gonna feel your shoulder, okay? It's still a tough exercise. So that's a great modification. If you want, you can try to add a knee tuck, tucking your top leg, all right? So that's another option if you wanna try it, but it's a little bit difficult. So forearm on the mat for support, bottom leg on the mat for support. Tuck the other hand behind your head, lift the hips. Now, if you want, you can bend this top knee and crunch knee to elbow before you lower your hips. Lift, crunch, and lower. Lift, crunch, bringing elbow to knee, straighten the leg, and lower. That's another option, okay? But if that's too difficult, if you don't have the balance for that, or you don't have the core strength for that, just stay right here. Lift and lower the hip. still a really tough exercise, but we're only doing sets of 10. So I think most beginners can manage that. If not, if it's just too difficult or too uncomfortable to be in a side plank like that, you can do Russian twists. Any ab exercise, I'm gonna recommend that you stick with something that works your obliques, because that's what I'm doing today. So if you wanna kind of keep it similar to what I'm doing, you could do Russian twists, and we've gone over these several times, right? Just twist and tap, twist and tap. You can have your heels down on the mat if you need to. You can shorten up your range of motion. So if you can't twist all the way and tap the mat, you can be here. Just really feel that crunch in your obliques. But remember that any ab exercise you want to do is fine, but that's what I'm doing. You have your beginner modifications. You have some other alternatives. You can do any sit-up variation, any crunch variation you want, and you have your standing abs. So just pick what works best for you. Last but not least is push-ups. I know we all love our push-ups, don't we? Well, hopefully you're starting to really notice yourself getting stronger, and hopefully you're starting to notice that you're improving and getting better at doing push-ups so that they're not as torturous, and so maybe you don't mind them as much. But I'm going to just give you your 3 main bullet points for push-ups, so that you mind your form during the push-up. So these are the 3 things I want you to always have in mind. Number 1, head in line with the spine. So if you imagine you are standing with your back up against the wall and you're just lightly pressing the back of your head into the wall, that's where you want your head to be. And you don't want it to move. So head in line with the spine and head still is your first bullet point. It's very common that people will kind of bob their head up and down as they're doing the push-ups. That's what we want to avoid. So you don't want to allow your head to drop like this. You also don't want to overcorrect by hyperextending your neck and kind of jutting your chin out. You just want your head to be in line with your spine, and you want it to stay there, okay? So once you've found that position where your head is perfectly in line with your spine, make sure it doesn't move. Your second bullet point, shoulders away from the ears. So just like with our squats and our lunges, we want our shoulders to be away from our ears. And what that looks like in a push-up, this is a very common mistake, is that people will kind of sink into their shoulders like this. So do you see how my shoulders are kind of hunched up like this? We want shoulders away from the ears. So the way to fix that is, first of all, to spread out all 10 fingers. Distribute your weight as evenly as you can, and then what you're going to do is press the ground away from you, as though you are actively trying to push the ground away. So you'll see what that does. I'm going from this to now pressing the ground away from me, and now I'm up here in my nice high plank. You want to be up as high as you can. And your third bullet point, flat back. Okay, so with our squats and lunges, we had flat back, weight in the heels, but also we had shoulders away from the ears, right? So similar here, we've got flat back, shoulders away from the ears. The main thing is that you don't want to allow your hips or your belly to kind of droop towards the mat. That causes an arch in your back. It's another very common mistake, but you'll see a lot of people kind of doing this. This is what we want to avoid. Do you see how there's an arch in my back? We want to get rid of that arch. We want a flat back. So how to fix this? Again, just like with our squats and our lunges, when you picture someone's about to come along and punch you in the stomach as hard as they can, you're bracing for that impact. You want your abs to be so engaged, super strong and tight. And then you're going to use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high. All right, so head is in line with the spine, not down here, not up here, in line with the spine. Shoulders are away from the ears, not here, but here. And back is flat, not like this, but like this. Now, if your hips are slightly elevated like this, notice that when I'm in this position, my back is still flat. So it's not the worst thing in the world if your hips are slightly elevated. As long as your back is flat, you're not going to hurt yourself doing the push-ups that way, and it will actually make the push-ups just a little bit easier, so don't worry about it too much. But it is something that you want to work towards correcting. So if you're here, it's not the worst thing. What you really want to avoid is the opposite, that arch in your back. So ideally, you want to be right here, not down here definitely, also not up here if you can manage it, right here. So what you're going for is that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. And really it's from your heels to the very tip of your head, one straight line. And then just think of your body as like a plank of wood, like a 2x4. So once you have found that nice high plank position and your body's in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders, nothing moves. So you're going to bend your elbows and lower your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. It's difficult to get your chest all the way down and you might not be able to do it. So if you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat, you have two options. Your first option is to put your knees down and start doing knee push-ups. Your second option is to shorten up your range of motion. So if you can only get your chest this close to the mat, then that's fine. Shorten up your range of motion. Stop here, press the mat away from you and push yourself back up, and that's your push-up. Or you can put your knees down and do knee push-ups. That's absolutely fine. But what you don't want to do, if you are unable to get your chest all the way down to the mat, what you don't want to do is compensate for that by lowering your hips or your belly down like this. All right, remember you want your back flat and you want to maintain that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. You don't want anything to move. The other thing that's really common, if you're unable to get your chest all the way down, a lot of people will lower their forehead down to the mat. And I don't even think they realize they're doing it necessarily. I think they're just kind of tricking themselves into thinking that they're getting all the way down. But remember that you want your head to stay in line with your spine and you don't want it to move. You don't want to be bobbing your head up and down while you're doing your push-ups. So if you can't reach the mat with your chest, that's fine. Either put your knees down or shorten up your range of motion. Just make sure you're not breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. Head in line with the spine and keep the head still. Shoulders away from the ears. Push the ground away from you. And flat back. Tighten up those abs, lift your hips high and keep them high. Make sure you're not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat. And moving plank. That's kind of your fourth bullet point. Once you found that position, your body's a moving plank. Okay, so you don't break that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. If you're doing knee push-ups, it's the exact same exercise. Literally the only difference is that instead of my straight line going from my heels to my shoulders, my straight line is from my knees to my shoulders. All right, literally the only difference. Everything else is the same. My head is in line with my spine. I'm not letting my head drop. I'm not hyperextending my neck. My head is in a nice neutral position in line with my spine and it's not going to move. My shoulders are away from my ears, so I'm not sinking into my shoulders like this. I'm spreading out those fingers. I'm pressing the ground away from me. I'm pushing myself up as high as I can. And my back is flat. I am not allowing my hips or my belly to droop down towards the mat, causing my back to arch. I'm tightening up my abs. I'm using my ab muscles to lift my hips high, and I'm going to keep them lifted nice and high. And from here, nothing moves. I'm going to bend my elbows and lower my chest as close to the mat as I can without ever breaking that straight line from my heels to my shoulders. And then I'm going to press the mat away from me to push myself back up. And it's the same thing. If I can't get my chest all the way down, I'm not going to compensate by lowering my hips or my belly to the mat. And I'm not going to compensate for the fact that I'm not getting my chest all the way down by lowering my forehead down to the mat. I'm just going to shorten up my range of motion. So if you can only come down this far without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, then this is your push-up. Stop here, press the mat away from you, and push yourself back up to return to your starting position. Just make sure you never break that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, and that's it. Okay? Those are the main things to remember for your push-ups. My push-up variation is also very simple. I'm doing staggered hands push-ups. So all that means is that instead of starting with my hands directly underneath my shoulders, I'm going to take one hand and place it slightly forward, and I'm going to take the other hand and place it slightly back, okay? One hand is more towards the top of my mat, one hand is more towards the bottom of my mat. And I'm going to do my push-up from that position. And then with each rep, I'm going to switch my hands, okay? So instead of having my hands perfectly in line with my shoulders, they're going to be staggered. One hand's going to be slightly forward, the other hand's going to be slightly back, and then with each rep, I'm going to switch the position of my hands. Super simple, but if it's too difficult for you, just keep your hands right underneath your shoulders, okay? Stick with regular push-ups, that's fine. So it's going to look like this. Place one hand forward, the other hand behind, and then everything else is the same. Straight line from the knees to the shoulders, head in line with the spine. Keep your head still. Bend your elbows, lower your chest as close to the mat as you can. Push yourself back up, and now switch the position of the hands so that they're staggered with the opposite hand forward, the opposite hand back. Same thing, bend the elbows, lower the chest down as close to the mat as you can, and then push the ground away from you. So if they work from your knees or from your toes, I'm going to be doing my push-ups from the toes, but obviously, you can do them from your knees, same exact exercise. If you are strong enough to just at least try to do the first couple of reps from your toes, and you wanna try that, great. You can always just do 2 or 3 or 4 or 1 rep from your toes and then put your knees down. I do want you to push yourself, I do want you to challenge yourself, but again, remember it's really important that you're working to your own level, so don't push yourself into doing something you're not ready to do, but also don't sell yourself short. Even if you are a beginner, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do a push-up from your toes. Not all beginners are at the same level necessarily just because they're beginners, so you may not think you can do a push-up from your toes, but maybe you can, so you might want to try to do 1 or 2 reps from your toes. That's up to you. Again, you know your body, so be smart, be safe, make the decision that's best for you. But that is my push-up variation, and that's it. That's all 4 exercises. So the format is super simple. 10 reps of each exercise, 4 times through the circuit. That's our 160 reps. So I'm going to start with my squat and side lunge combo. I'm gonna squat and then do a side lunge, that's 1 rep, alternating sides with each rep. So we'll do 10 total reps. And then I'll move on to my ab exercise. So I'm doing those oblique, the side plank hip dip plus the oblique crunch. So I'm going to stay on one side for the entire set. I'm going to do 10 reps all on the same side. And then I'll move on to push-ups. 10 hands staggered push-ups, and that's 1 round. So then we're just gonna complete 4 rounds of the circuit. So I'll start again at the top with another 10 reps of my squat side lunge combo, alternating sides for the lunge with each rep. Then I'll move on to 10 reps of my ab exercise, but I'll do it on the opposite side. So each time through the circuit, I'm going to be on the other side. Okay, I'm gonna switch sides for my ab exercise each time you go through the circuit. And then I'll do 10 more push-ups, that's round 2, and then we'll repeat the whole thing twice more. So the really only important thing is just to make sure that every time you go through the circuit, you're switching sides for your abs so that you end up working both sides evenly, but that's it. I think that's clear. That should be pretty clear. That's a super simple format. Remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and I'm going to do the entire workout right along with you. So watch me do it, read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format and how everything fits together, if you have questions about the exercises that we are doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I have already shown you in the video, I am right here to help, so please just ask. It's really important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout so that you reduce your risk of injury, and also just to make sure that you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. And you guys know it's also incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. I'm always here to help facilitate that. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. And one thing I'm realizing that is that I did not give you a standing modification for your push-ups. So if you are unable to get down onto the mat for push-ups because it hurts your knees, or you just have trouble getting down and up, you can do standing push-up variations as well. You can do push-ups off of the arm of your couch or your kitchen counter, or even off of the wall. So please let me know if you need to see those modifications, but you can absolutely do your push-ups from a standing position so that you never have to get down onto the mat. All right, so one final thing I just want to remind you before we begin is to remember to please make sure that you're going at your own pace, and make sure you're minding your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. It's really important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout, but it's just as important that you apply that knowledge once you begin the workout and that you actually do the exercises with the correct form. So if you're faster than I am, that's great. If you're in any kind of decent shape, it's very likely that you will be faster than I am, as long as you're not sacrificing your form to get there. But if you find that you're kind of racing through the exercises just because you're trying to go really, really fast because you really want to get a good score, or because you're trying to keep up with me, your form might start to get sloppy. So if you find that your form is starting to get sloppy because you're going too fast, then you're going to need to slow it down. The number one most important thing is that you are minding your form. So if you're slower than I am, that's great. And I mean great, because how would you even know that you are slower than I am unless you're out here doing the reps? So as long as you're getting your reps done, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. If you fall behind, either because you are just working at a slower pace than I am, or because you need to stop and rest, that's fine. Pause the video and just come back when you're ready. I want you to challenge you to keep your rest breaks as short as you can, but they should be as long as you need. So you should only resume the workout once you feel that you are capable of continuing with good form. So as soon as you feel that you have regained enough strength and enough stamina that you can come back and continue doing the exercises with good form, you should come back. But take as long of a rest break as you need, okay? Just remember, go at your own pace, be smart, okay, and be safe. Listen to your body. Make sure you're not pushing your body into doing anything it's not ready to do. Make sure that you are minding your form and don't sacrifice your form for speed. Hopefully I have covered everything. If you are ready to go ahead and do this workout with me, grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you don't have a mat, a towel may suffice. If you are working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. But if you're going to be doing the ab exercise that I'm doing, or if you're going to be doing push-ups from your knees, you will be much more comfortable with something soft beneath you. If you need to hold on to a chair or a bar stool or some other strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface for support, get that ready as well. And then pause the video, go get dressed, meet me right back here. We are going to do a quick 5-minute warm up and then we'll get our reps done together. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm up. You're going to begin by just allowing your head to gently fall towards one shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. So you're not actively pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. You're just resting your hand on top of your head and letting gravity do all of the work of just gently stretching the other side of your neck. Now switching sides, so let your head fall to the opposite shoulder. Place your hand on top of the head and just rest it there. Make sure both of your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Don't let the shoulders creep up towards the ears. Make sure your shoulders are away from the ears. And now we're gonna do some head rolls. So you're gonna start by just letting your chin fall to your chest and then towards the other shoulder and back. And each time you roll your head, just start to feel your head getting heavier and heavier. Make sure your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll. Start expanding your range of motion with each head roll until you're just rolling your entire body. Now some shoulder rolls. So we're making nice big circles with our shoulders, Really exaggerate the movement, make those circles as big as you can. And next we're gonna do arm circles, but we're gonna start small. So you're going to start by extending your arms out to the side and making small circles. But gradually, as the interval progresses, you want to start making your circles a little bigger, until finally you're making your circles as big as you can, really loosening up those shoulders. Now you're going to step the feet wider than shoulder width apart, bend the knees and kind of sweep your hands in front of you. Reach your hands up to the ceiling as you straighten your legs. And each time you bend your knees, start expanding your range of motion, sinking deeper and deeper into that squat. Now keep your feet planted where they are. We're just gonna lunge side to side, nice and easy. Adding the arms. So with each lunge, you're reaching across your body with your arm, like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Next, we're gonna step our feet into the middle and march. So step your feet together and march. Start with your knees low, but gradually, as the interval progresses, you're gonna start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest, until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest, feeling a little stretch in your glutes. And now we're gonna jog, a nice light jog, but again, little by little, as the interval progresses, you're gonna start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until you're driving them up as high as you can. And now we're gonna do booty kicks. So it's still a nice light jog, but now with each step, you're bringing your foot behind you and trying to kick yourself in the booty with your heel. Now for this next one, you might need to hold onto a chair or the wall for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips, but you're going to transfer your weight into one leg, pick up the other foot and just swing. Swing the leg in front of you and behind you. Just nice and loose. We're gonna switch sides. So you're gonna put this foot down, transfer your weight, pick up the opposite foot, and just start swinging the leg. You can start low, and then gradually start increasing your range of motion. Just swinging the leg in front of you and behind you. Nice and loose. Now we're gonna put this foot down on the floor, extend the foot out in front of you, and just draw a little semicircle, bringing that leg around and behind you. And repeat. Every time you draw a semicircle, you're gonna start lifting your leg a little higher, and then finally, I like to drive the knee up in front of me and kind of guide it around with my hand. Now other side, so starting low, extend the leg out in front of you, draw a little semicircle, bringing the leg around and behind you, lifting the leg a little higher with each semicircle, and then finally, drive the knee up to your chest, kind of guide it around with your hand. Last but not least is our hamstring stretch. So just hinging at the hips. If you have a chair or a bar stool or the arm of your couch or something, it really can make getting into this stretch a lot easier because it's going to make it easier to keep your back flat. And keeping your back flat in this stretch is going to help you to isolate those hamstrings and really intensify the stretch in your hamstrings. If you don't need to use a chair or the wall, you don't have to, but it just makes getting into that stretch a lot more comfortable. And you want to avoid rounding your back in this stretch. You're not going to hurt yourself if you round your back, but if you keep your back flat, you're really going to feel that stretch start to intensify very quickly in those hamstrings. So that's our 5-minute warm-up. I should stop billing it as a 5-minute warm-up because I know I always spend a few extra seconds in that hamstring stretch, but just really tight in the back of my legs, so I like to spend a few extra seconds making sure that my legs are nice and loose and I'm ready to go. All right, so now we're nice and warmed up. Our chickens are funky and our gooses are loose. So let's go ahead and get these reps done. We are starting with our squat and side lunge combo, alternating sides with the side lunge on each rep, 10 reps. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So squat, side lunge, squat, side lunge to the other direction. That's 2, 3, squat and lunge. That's 4, 5. We're going to 10. Do your best. Right on to abs. Our first set of squats and our first set of lunges are already done. So coming down onto your mat, side plank position. Now dip the hip, lift the hip, bring that back knee forward and crunch knee to elbow. That's 2, 3, 4. We're going to 10. Do your best. Okay, last but not least is push-ups. Hands staggered push-ups or whatever push-up variation you're doing. So coming up to your plank with your hands staggered, push up, switch the position of the hands and push up. That's 10. And that's round 1 already. We have to do 3 more rounds. So as soon as you're ready, here we go, starting round 2. Squat, side lunge. That's 1, 2, we're going to 10. Abs, make sure you're switching sides. Side plank, dip the hip, crunch the knee, bringing knee to elbow. 10 reps. Push-ups. That's round 2. If you need to pause and rest, pause and rest. Come back when you're ready. If you don't need to rest, let's go ahead and start round 3. abs. Make sure you're switching sides each time through the circuit. Push-ups. That's 10, and that's round 3. Let's keep pushing. One more round. Abs. Almost done. Just one set of push-ups left to go. Okay, get up. I know, all you want to do is collapse in a heap on your mat. I hear that. I feel you. But it's really important to get up and keep moving. You want to keep the circulation going while you allow your heart rate to come back down and while you allow your breathing to normalize. It doesn't have to be anything structured if you don't want to. Just pacing back and forth is absolutely fine. That's more or less what I usually do for my cool down. But if you're feeling your shoulders, we were working our shoulders really hard today, not only with the push-ups, but with our ab exercise. So let's do a quick shoulder stretch. Just bringing one arm across your body and using the opposite arm to pull your straight arm in close to your chest. So the arm that's stretching is straight and it's nice and relaxed. Your shoulder is nice and relaxed, so you can really get a good stretch. Just gently pulling the arm in towards your chest, relaxing that shoulder, feeling a nice stretch. And shake it out, we'll do the other side. So make sure that the arm that's stretching is nice and relaxed. Shoulder is relaxed. Your other arm is doing all the work. Just pulling your straight arm in towards your chest, stretching out that shoulder. Okay, nice. Shake it out. Do a quick tricep stretch. So just bend one elbow. Place your other hand on the elbow and just gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Very gently. Feel that stretch in your tricep. Make sure that your free hand is relaxed and pointing straight down at the ground. So you don't want this hand up here somewhere. Should be pointing straight down. Shake it out. And let's get the tricep on the other side. So bend the opposite arm. Place your hand on the elbow and just gently pull that elbow towards the opposite shoulder, making sure that your free hand is relaxed behind you, just pointing straight down at the ground. All right, quick quad stretch. So if you struggle with balance, you may want to hold on to something for support. Just find your balance in one foot. You're gonna pick up the other foot and bring it behind you. And then reach around behind you and grab onto the top of your foot with both hands. And then you're just going to press your heel into your booty, feeling that stretch in your quads. And as you do that, make sure you're tilting your pelvis forward. Kind of tuck your booty underneath you so that you can really isolate that quad muscle, really feel that stretch intensify. So other leg, find your balance in this leg now. Pick up the other foot, bring it up behind you. Reach behind you and grab on to the top of your foot. Press the heel into your booty cheeks and make sure that you're tilting your pelvis this way. Okay, so think about tucking your booty underneath you. Think about trying to touch your spine with your belly button. Okay, and as you do that, make sure you're continuing to push your heel into your booty cheek. When you do both of those things at the same time, press the heel into the booty and also tilt your pelvis this way, kind of suck your belly button back towards your spine. You can really instantly feel that stretch intensify in your quad. It makes the stretch a lot more effective. So just shake it out, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. If you feel that you're not quite cooled down yet and you need a couple of more minutes for your heart rate to come down and for your breathing to normalize, then just continue pacing around, shaking out the arms, shaking out the legs, just keep moving. You can do a little bit more light stretching until you feel that you have cooled down sufficiently, and then we can do our bonus burpee together. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee, so we have just 1 rep left to go, and even if you are a beginner, that does not excuse you from having to do your bonus burpee. The bonus burpee is mandatory. You must do a bonus burpee after each and every workout. It is part of the workout. It is part of this challenge. So you don't have to include a push-up with your bonus burpee. There are a million different burpee variations. You can do any burpee variation you want. I am going to be including a push-up. You can choose a burpee variation that does not contain a push-up, but the bonus burpee itself is mandatory. So choose any burpee variation you want. If you are a beginner, I will walk you through how to do a beginner bonus burpee. I will be including a push-up, but you can eliminate it if you want. You're going to start standing in the middle of your mat. You're going to bend down and place your hands flat on the mat in front of you, and then you are going to step your feet back one at a time so that you are in a plank position. Now put your knees down for a push-up if you are including a push-up. If you don't want to do a push-up, you can eliminate it. Step the feet back in and stand. Come up onto your toes if you can, and if you want, you can add a little jump. If you are not a beginner and you would like to try to do the push-up from your toes, let's go ahead and do one final bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. With that, the workout is now officially complete. That ended up taking me 8 minutes and 34 seconds. Today I actually wanted to complete it in closer to 8 minutes, but this is fine by me. I got the reps done. I was pushing hard today, and that's what matters. So now it's really important that you are taking a good 15 or 20 minutes to stretch. Right now, immediately after the workout is going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get your stretching done because your muscles are already nice and warm. If you do not have time to stretch right now, that's fine. You can do it later in the day. Just remember that if you put off your stretching until later in the day, your muscles will have gotten cold again. So you are going to need to take a few minutes to warm them back up before you begin stretching. The same way we take 5 minutes to warm up our muscles before we start the workout, it's also really important that you're not jumping into your stretching routine with cold muscles. You need to make sure to take a few minutes to warm up your muscles before you begin stretching so that they are more pliable and you reduce your risk of overstretching or straining something or pulling a muscle during your stretching routine. So you can do your stretching later in the day. Just remember to warm your muscles back up before you begin the stretching routine. Right now is the best time to do it because you don't have to warm up your muscles. They're already warm from the workout, but it doesn't matter when you get the stretching done as long as you get it done at some point during the day. But don't skip your stretching. It's really important, especially if you are a beginner and you are experiencing muscle soreness. Taking the time to stretch every day is really going to help alleviate a lot of that muscle soreness that you're feeling. It'll make it a lot more comfortable continuing forward with the rest of the challenge. It is also going to help you reduce your risk of injury moving forward, and you're going to improve your flexibility and your mobility, which is important in its own right. So make sure to take some time to get your stretching done at some point during the day. If you are a beginner and you don't know how to stretch and you don't know where to begin, just go on YouTube, search for beginner stretching routine. There's going to be tons and tons of great options. Just kind of scroll through, see what looks good to you, and pick one. It doesn't matter what you do for your stretching routine, just as long as you get it done. There is a stretching routine, a specific stretching routine that I do every day. If you want the link for that, just ask. I'm happy to share it with you. Before I do my stretching though, I am going to add on 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope. That's why I'm holding Victoria. Victoria is my beautiful silver jump rope with the pretty light pink metallic handles. And if you would like to know where I got Victoria, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link and use coupon code RUDBECCA to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. The additional cardio is not mandatory. It is not officially part of the challenge. I'm sharing it with you because every year when I do this challenge, this is how I do it. I add on 20 to 30 minutes of moderate paced cardio after every single workout because I am trying to use this challenge to get myself back in shape. I need to lose weight. I desperately need to improve my stamina and my endurance, and I want to strengthen my heart and my lungs, so the additional cardio really helps to accelerate that process for me. It also helps me to start seeing results faster, which is really encouraging, and it makes it a lot easier to motivate myself to keep going. And the stronger I get and the more my stamina improves, the easier the workouts start to become for me. So that also helps with motivation, because I know every day that before I get dressed and come out here to do my reps, I know the workout is going to be easier than it was the day before. So for me, 9 times out of 10, my additional cardio is jump rope. But sometimes I might go for a jog, or I might hop on the exercise bike for 30 minutes. When I have time, I will go for a nice long hike. So it could be any kind of moderate paced cardio you want. You can go for a jog or even just a brisk walk. If you have a heavy bag, you could work on your heavy bag. If you do have something like an elliptical or a treadmill or something like that, you can hop on one of those for 20, 30 minutes. If you have access to the field at your local high school, you could jog around the track, or you could do up and down the bleachers. You could go for a swim if you have access to a pool, or if you live by the beach. It doesn't matter what you do for your additional cardio, and it doesn't have to be more than 20 or 30 minutes long, but I'm sharing this with you because I just want to be transparent, and I want to be upfront with you. I want you to know that I am doing more than just these 160 reps every day for the challenge. I am relying solely on our 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups a day every single day for my strength training. That's all I'm doing for strength training. But I'm also doing 20 to 30 minutes or more of moderate paced cardio every single day. So I know we're doing 6 workouts a week. We're working out every Monday through Saturday, so that means I'm doing 6 cardio sessions a week. And that's a lot. I understand that you might not physically be able to do 6 cardio sessions a week, or you just might not have time to do 6 cardio sessions a week, and I hear you. Again, you don't have to do any cardio at all. It is not officially part of the challenge. But if you can find even 2 or 3 days a week to sneak in a cardio session, I strongly recommend that you consider doing that, because again, if you are also using this challenge to try to get yourself in shape or lose weight, the additional cardio is going to help accelerate that process for you. It is going to help you start seeing results faster, which will encourage you to keep going, makes motivation easier to combine. It just makes it easier to stick with the challenge, and I just know that you'll be so much happier with your results at the end of the challenge if you can just find even 2 or 3 days a week. Just sneak in the cardio sessions whenever you can. One more time, just to reiterate, louder for the people in the back, the additional cardio is not mandatory. You don't have to do it at all if you don't want to. It is not technically part of the challenge, but it's the way I do the challenge every year, and I recommend that you do your best to just add on 2 to 3 cardio sessions a week if you can. But whether or not you are doing cardio today, our 161 reps are complete. We have done 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, 40 push-ups, and 1 bonus burpee. So that is officially a wrap on day 29, and our penultimate week of the challenge is officially underway. So well done. I hope you liked this workout. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately, and even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you so much to everyone who is doing the challenge with me. This is the most people I've ever had join me for the challenge, and you guys are all amazing. It makes me so happy. Remember that it is not too late to join the challenge. It is never too late to join. You can hop in and just start today with day 29. That is a-okay with me. If you would prefer to go back to the beginning and start the challenge on day 1, that is recommended. So save the playlist, watch that day 1 video, and then when you're ready to begin the challenge, just remember to start with that day 1 workout on a Wednesday. Any random Wednesday will do, but as long as you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday, all you have to do is follow along with the playlist, and everything will fall into place. I have made it super easy to follow along, but remember that I am always here to help. I am here to guide you and provide motivation and encouragement and answer your questions. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. I also need to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very, very much. One final reminder that if anything is unclear about today's workout, about the format of the workout and how everything fits together, if you have questions about the exercises that we were doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided, I am right here to help, so please just ask. That is going to do it for today. I will see you all right back here tomorrow for day 30. Bye.